there is no doubt that sometimes some of the greatest things, that artists come up with, the greatest achievements that athletes do, and the greatest businesses that businessmen get to achieve or finish, start in very difficult situations. Very difficult. Many of them, if you really do research and you think and you really go through the numbers or history of many of the great things that have been accomplished throughout history of Earth, they start with a very overwhelming adversity, let's say. One of the I was watching an interview with David Howell, who is the guitar player of U2, and he was talking about the first time, how did the first record from U2 came to happen. And well, it turned out it was 1978, and they went to a battle of the band competition in Limerick, I think it was a place in England, and they ended up winning the competition. And back in those days, they made 500 pounds, which they say was pretty good money back in those days. And they used the money for photography session, and they also they had to create a poster, because back in those days they say it was extremely important to have a poster. It was like unthinkable to be a band and not really have a poster. And so after they won the competition, they went ahead and played in several, they had several gigs around England, 5 of them if I'm not wrong. One of them very famous, I think, is called Hope and Anchor. And they had been talking to the manager, and they were wishing that after doing well in the Battle of the Bands and playing around England, they're from Dublin, Ireland, for those of you that don't know where U2 is from. And the thing is, in those concerts that they gave after the Battle of the Bands, they had no offer. All the record companies from England passed over them. They had no offer to, from a record company, and they went back to Dublin, and of course they were brokenhearted. They were feeling really bad after being, after having done so well in the Battle of the Bands and still not reaching that very important part of the career of any aspiring musicians, which is getting a record label, getting signed by a record label company. And so going back to Dublin, the manager said, you know what, I've been thinking that it will be good if we have like a homecoming concert in Dublin, but we do it like in a boxing stadium. They were planning to do it in a boxing stadium for a capacity of 2,000 people. And the members of the band, they were like, wow, 2,000 people, that's a lot. That was a lot for them back then, imagine that. So they say, okay, yeah, we can do that. And they ended up having that homecoming concert. They say that they sold approximately 40 or 50% of the tickets, so it was a pretty sizable audience. And but they were still, the concert was over, and they were still really, they felt bad, they felt rejected, and they were still wondering what went wrong. They knew that they hadn't been, they knew that they thought that the British audience was a little laid back and not really, and the band itself had not been at its best during those 5 concerts that they gave around England, and that's probably one reason, that's something that influenced that they didn't get a record label to sign them. So they played the homecoming in Dublin, and it turned out that there was one representative of a record label company from England that had not been able to make it to any of the concerts that they play in England. So they came to them right after the concert and say, the homecoming concert, and say, hey guys, you know what, I want to sign you right now, right here. So it happened, it happened just like that. He say within 1 week we were from the lowest of the lowest, feeling so bad after doing well at the battle of the bands and everything. You will think that you have your chance and it's gonna happen and it's gonna come, and then nothing happens, and 1 week later life changes just like that. So that, I think that's a good story that represents how life is. How um, you never know where you are in life. I think that the important thing is to keep pushing forward, because sometimes when we feel like, okay, I feel like I'm doing well, I feel like I'm inspired and everything is going well, and whatever I'm doing is coming nice and smooth and easy, and nothing happens, and then all of a sudden, um, sometimes you just feel awkward and like things are not going to work, or your hopes are really, your hopes are not high anymore. You're feeling bad and you're feeling rejected and you're feeling frustrated and you feel like you're about to give up, and sometimes that's a moment when your opportunity shows up. That's another thing that David Howell was talking about when he was asked about how they were creating music. He was saying that in the past they had like a set of cards that had like different things that they will do when they were recording or in the studio. And it says, for example, it will be like, okay, everybody swap instrument or play the song half the time, and they will do different things trying to find creativity and trying to find something different in their music. And he said that's one of the things that's one of the things that happens in music. And he said that Quincy Jones told him that too. That he felt that many times they will show up and feel like, okay, you know what, we feel pretty good. We're playing good, and we're inspired, and we have this, sometimes we have this song or we have this tone that we think that's gonna be the breakthrough, or that's gonna make it pretty big, and it doesn't happen. Nothing happens. Things don't change. He said sometimes you show up in the studio and you feel so bad, and you just feel like so out of tone, and you just don't feel like the rhythm, and you don't feel like music is coming out too smooth. So they say, you know what, you will think like it's worthless to put the record machine, to put it on, because we're not doing well. And he's saying sometimes those are the times when things happen better, when you don't think well, and things turn out to be pretty good at the end. And sometimes you show up and you feel perfect, and it's totally the opposite. Things just don't happen. So I think that's one of the things that happen in life. You cannot, it's like a wave. The way I see life is like a wave. I used to surf, and if you have done it, you know that sometimes you're just waiting for the perfect wave, and sometimes you have a bunch of small waves that really don't do much, and then all of a sudden you got the perfect wave. So you never know when it's going to happen, and life is like that. You just gotta ride the wave. You just gotta ride one and the next one and the next one, and you wait for it. If you just if you're just there like sitting on your table, on your surfboard, sorry, and waiting for the right wave to arrive, you might be waiting for the whole day, and you're gonna lose the opportunity to surf probably 35 small waves that will have helped you improve in your technique and so many other things until you catch the right wave. And sometimes you don't even catch the right wave because it never comes. So I thought that was a pretty interesting story, about how things can start in such a way that it just seems to be hopeless, and they change, and how sometimes life is going to be like a roller coaster. Sometimes it's going to go well, and sometimes it's going to go bad, but you don't want to judge by the roller coaster. If you're on the tip or you're at the very bottom or on the plateau, sometimes you just got to keep on doing it. You just got to keep on working on it. And when you list, one of the beauties of success is that it's usually unexpected. It usually happens and you don't see it coming, and that's one of the things that also make it worth working for it. Because when it happens, I mean, I don't mean that it's going to happen all of a sudden you're going to be huge and famous, but you just feel it. It's just something that it can be a very little victory that you have, and it seems like a little victory on the outside, but inside of you, it's on your inner self that you say that it makes you feel like, okay, this is it, I'm making it. It's probably you make that video and you don't get any views or you don't get any comments, and then all of a sudden you get your first comment, hey dude, good video, man. And you're like, oh my god, Actually, at least one guy actually saw it and liked it. So think about it, guys. Yeah, I think it was a very, very interesting story, very good interview, and well, I hope you like it. If you like what I saw in my video, please give me a like and subscribe to the channel. I talk a lot about this kind of stuff, you know, and I love to do it, and I love growing with all this information at the same time with all of you. Thank you. Bye.